If you think you already know how to eat healthy, but nothing's working anymore, this video's for you. Because even really smart, health-conscious people have heads full of misinformation about what's healthy to eat. And it's important to realize this so you can finally do what works, because it's not actually hard. In this video, I'm going to show you why what we tend to call healthy eating isn't actually giving our bodies what they need, and why eating wisely is something completely different. I'm Dr. Ginny. I'm a psychologist and a health coach, and I help women in midlife eat in a way that produces real changes in weight, energy, and how we age. And I know this topic because I lived it. I was one of those people saying exactly what I hear all the time. I know how to eat healthy. I eat healthy most of the time. What used to work just isn't working anymore. We're the kind of people who set our minds to something and we get it done. And for a lot of us, that used to work with food too. When we wanted to, we could make some adjustments and see results. But then our hormones changed and the whole game changed, and everything we'd been doing stopped working. For me, it was in my mid-40s, like 20 years ago now. What used to work just stopped working pretty much overnight. And it was easy to start thinking maybe this is just what happens as we get older. My doctor certainly seemed to believe that. But I found that's not necessarily true. Yes, our hormones change, that's a real thing. But the way most of us were eating, it wasn't truly giving our bodies what they needed. That's the real reason things aren't working. And when we change that, we can turn all this around. So why don't we know what our bodies actually need? It's because too much of the information we've been given our whole lives about food is wrong. And it's not accidentally wrong. It's shaped by an industry that profits from selling us processed food that's dressed up as healthy. We'll never get results that stick from approaches that force our body to let go. Calorie cutting and fasting and appetite suppressants. Our body's going to fight back against those every time. The only approaches that create real lasting change are the ones that leave our body fully nourished, because that's when it's happy to let go. It's not hard to feed our bodies right, but in this environment, it's virtually impossible to even see what that looks like. So the path most of us are on, it just doesn't go there. But there is a wiser path, and once you see it, it's surprisingly simple. I call it SimplyWise eating, and it starts from a completely different place, from what we call healthy eating or dieting. It starts with eating enough real, highly nutritious food to make the body happy. We fill our plates with lots of colorful real foods at every meal, and we get consistent about that. Not diet portions, not eating like birds, abundant, real, nourishing food. And it surprises people so much to be losing weight without feeling hungry between meals. It's just a completely new experience. And it changes the results as well. Beyond the weight, people notice how much more alive they look and feel. That's what real nourishment does. It's not just all about what we weigh. It's about how fully we can live in our bodies. And it's not a new idea, eating abundant, nutritious food. For most of human history, that's what people ate, because that's what was there. There were no health food aisles, no labels, no protein bars, right? It was just food. And they didn't have the metabolic health crisis that we have with obesity and diabetes and heart disease and dementia. What's happened is we've complicated something that was never meant to be complicated. But let's talk about how far we've lost track of it, because we're farther off than most people realize. So when I went to the research to see what am I missing in everything I've studied about healthy eating, I kept finding evidence of just how far off our healthy eating assumptions are. And I was shocked to discover that not only are there lots of highly processed foods in the grocery store, it's most of what's in the grocery store. 73% of the food. This is in United States studies and UK studies. So that means only 27% of the food in the grocery store is actually truly nutritious food. Those foods are there, but they're getting crowded out of our diets. And it means almost all of us are eating more processed food than we realize. Here's another number that stopped me cold. When people study diets for nutritional quality and they rate them on a scale of 1 to 100, the American diet scores an 11. 11 out of 100 on nutritional quality. Part of what that means is you and I could be eating way better than other people, much more healthfully than most of the people around us, and still not be close to giving our bodies what they actually need. And I see this with almost everyone I work with. People who feel confident they're eating very healthy, they eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. When we look closely, they're often getting only about 20% of what the research suggests we actually need. So it's this enormous gap, and the stakes are real, right? It's not only the fact that most of us are now struggling with excess weight, most of us now can expect to spend our last 10 years seriously ill. That's more than half of us can expect to be really ill with one or more of the diseases, the metabolic diseases, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, dementia, certain cancers, and they're all related to how we're eating more than any other factor. It doesn't have to be this way, but it is very likely in these times because our bodies are going too long without getting what they actually need. So this is why I keep coming back to the difference between healthy eating and wise eating. As long as we're working from this flawed healthy eating picture, we're going to keep letting our body down. We're going to keep falling short. We're following a map that's wrong. So trying harder isn't going to fix that. And I want to acknowledge something. If you've spent years like I did trying to eat well, doing your best, caring about your health, I'm asking you to question something you've believed for a long time. But what I found is what we're letting go of with some of those ideas is actually what's been standing between us and the results we've been working so hard for. We can get it out of our way. So consider letting go of the term healthy eating altogether, or healthy alternatives, or this food is healthy. Because our concept of healthy eating has been shaped our whole lives by our parents and our teachers and our culture. And underneath all of it, there's an industry that profits from selling us the cheapest, lowest nutrition, processed food dressed up as healthy. And that sends us to labels and health food aisles and smoothies and protein bars. And it sends us away from what our bodies have always needed. So when you reach for something next, try asking a different question. Not, is this healthy? What does the package say? But is this wise? Is this what people 1,000 years ago would be eating? That one question, is this wise, could change everything. Because when we start eating in a truly wise way, our body recognizes it. I remember this so well. It's like my body exhaled. It was like a sigh of relief. You finally figured out what I needed. And it's like the body can trust you again. So the weight starts to release and we start feeling more alive. We stop feeling hungry between meals. And we realize this is not hard. It's actually simple and thoroughly enjoyable. So changing our results is all about changing our diet, but it's absolutely not about dieting. It's about eating abundantly, simply for good. All right, if you want to know what wise eating looks like in practice, I put together a free resource called the SimplyWise Way. I'm going to show you the 4 fundamental principles that add up to results. I'm going to put the link below. And if you found these ideas valuable, like this video and subscribe to this channel. All right, keep it simple, keep it wise, and keep your spark alive.